Hey girl, the last video I did was about my embryo transfer. So I did the right thing and I documented every single day leading up to my actual pregnancy test, all the symptoms that I had after my embryo transfer. I'm gonna go day 1 through 9. Then I tested day 10. Can't remember if it was a blood test or not, but I tested day 10. I feel like I'm doing a public speaking assignment in class because I have my little notes in front of me here. But it's a little different because not a bunch of eyes on me. You like my palazzo striped pants? No? Day 1, you just want this? Okay. Day 1 for me, I'm counting as like the first day after the transfer, not the day of the transfer. Let's just start with that. So I had very minimal symptoms. You're kind of looking for whatever you can, obviously, when you're in this state, but minimal symptoms. Towards the evening, I had some very light cramping, but I was kind of suspicious about that because I was chalking it up to maybe being in my head because you're looking for every little thing. So that was day 1. Day 2 was still kind of early. It was still minimal, but I did notice a couple of things. So first off, I had a little bit of fullness in my pelvis. I don't really know how else to explain it. If you understand that, like mention that below. Maybe you can explain it better to people, but just felt a little full down there. Maybe kind of how you're kind of coming up on your period and you just feel like you got a lot going on and it needs to evacuate. Kind of felt like that. I did not have any cramps that day on day 2, and my breasts started to feel a slight little bit heavy. So the fullness in the uterus area, pelvis, and a little bit of heaviness in the breast region. Day 3, the pelvic fullness continued. And the weirdest symptom that I had through all this was my dreams started to get vivid. Now, when I say vivid dreams, I don't mean like, oh, I dreamt about like a car and it was driving. No, like when I say vivid dreams, I can tell you who was there, what they said, the colors, the way they sounded, the way they smelled, like all the little teeny tiny details, like I was watching a movie, like so vivid on day 3. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then on that day, I was waking up in the middle of the night to urinate. And that's unusual for me because I was always really good about timing how much liquid I would have before bed because I didn't want to wake up. But I started waking up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, just out of nowhere. That was day 3. On day 4, it kind of threw me off because all I felt was a little bit of bloating. But a little bit of bloating can be because you ate a Hot Pocket, which I haven't had since the 90s. Where did that even come from? It was one of my vivid dreams. Maybe I had a Hot Pocket dream and it just like came up right now in this video. Why am I talking? Okay, bloated only on day 4 and the urination continued. Day 5, I felt tired and nothing significant. By day 5, when I wasn't feeling anything, I started getting irritated and depressed. I started kind of getting down because by day 5, you'd expect something a little more dramatic. You know, you'd expect like cramping. With my pregnancy that lasted a while, I had a lot of cramping. And so that's what I was expecting. I was expecting a mirror image of it where it was just like you would feel these implantation cramps. It would be really obvious. It'd be a random time of day. And I didn't feel anything like that. So by day 5, I was just more depressed. I was still waking up at least 2 times a night to urinate, but I was not doing well mentally by day 5. I do remember that. That was not fun for me. Day 6, bloated, heavy breasts, and continued to urinate every night. So it kind of took a little bit of a positive turn at this point because I was feeling that bloatedness and like the heaviness here and the waking up to use the restroom, but I wasn't really thinking about the restroom as like a pregnancy symptom. I'll just say from this point on, like day 3 all the way through day 9, I was up in the middle of the night at least 2 times a night going to the bathroom, at least. And that's not with any extra fluids at night. Just very strange to me to have that be like my little routine at this point. So these last 3 days I can do all together. So day 7, I was feeling less bloated. Day 8, I had a headache and it was still minimal bloating. And then day 9, just breast tenderness. And this is when this is like the worst symptom. Oh no, the worst symptom I had. Yeah, this was it. I had rage. By day 9, was infuriated. I couldn't even, I don't even know how to explain it. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to engage with anything. I didn't want to talk to my husband. What I think was happening was because I had so much pregnancy trauma, I think for me, what happens is I decide that I would rather be in a state of anger and rage than fear and depression, because that's kind of just how I grew up. Like, if I was having a hard time in high school, then I would take it out on the soccer field. I would lift weights. I would find an aggressive outlet. And since I was waiting for pregnancy, to know if I was pregnant or not, my rage didn't have anywhere to go. So I was a bitch. I really was a bitch the last 2 days. And I didn't know why. And I didn't know how to handle it, but it was pretty bad. And I did have to talk to my husband, and we tried to figure out how to deal with that. Because I was also doing the mind reading thing where I was like, well, how do you not know? Why do you not know how to take care of me? Why do you not know the right things to say? I was a grade A certified bitch, for sure. So that, those last few days as I was waiting, that's what happened. And it wasn't good. But I'll get into results and everything later. But those were day 1 through 9 post embryo transfer symptoms for me. And this is the first time I've ever had an embryo transfer. So there you go. Main thing that was weird was all the urination. Thanks so much. Appreciate you being here. Goodbye.